Surmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasati Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'm very happy to hear the young devotees, our younger devotees, speak words glorifying Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, is not very well known in most of the world. So it's nice to see that gradually more and more people are becoming aware of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his wonderful contribution to the development of the human society, that he distributed the Sankirtan movement for everyone, which is so important in the Kali Yuga. One of the devotees quoted the verse from the Vishnu Sahasranam describing the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. And there's another verse also which describes Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which comes in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 11th canto, where Karabhajana Muni, who is one of the 9 Yogendras, the 9 Yogendras are preachers of the Bhagavad philosophy. They're all sons of Lord Rishabdev, and they travel everywhere and preach the Bhagavad philosophy. So Karabhajana Muni was one of these 9 Yogendras, and he was questioned by Maharaj Nimi long ago. Maharaj Nimi wanted to know about the incarnations of the Lord in each age. So Karabhajana Muni described the incarnations of the Lord in each of the ages, in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and in Kali Yuga. And in Kali Yuga, he told us about how the Lord comes. He said, Krishna Varnam Tavisha Krishnam Sangha Pangastra Parshadam Yagnaye Sankirtan Praye Yajantihi Sumedasaha. This verse describes how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears in the Kali Yuga, and that his color is described that he is Krishna, but he's not black. So Krishna Varnam Tavish Akrishnam. He's Krishna Varna, he's doing the work of Krishna. Remember, the work of Krishna is Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinaschaya Chaduskritam Dharma Samstarpanartaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. The Lord comes in every age to establish the religious principles and to give pleasure to the devotees and to annihilate the miscreants. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the Kali Yuga, and he is Lord Krishna, but he is not black. He is Akrishna. He's coming in a golden color, right? Just like in the Vishnu Sahasranam verse it was describing Suvarna Varna Hemango, right? Suvarna Varna Hemango. It's a golden color. He's a golden complexion. So this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is actually Lord Krishna, who has come as Mahabhadanaya avatar, the most merciful of all the Lord's incarnations, as we heard from the verse given by Rupa Goswami describing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya is very merciful because he's delivering Krishna consciousness to everyone without discrimination. In other yugas, when the Lord came, there were conditions. Like when Lord Krishna appears, he speaks the Bhagavad Gita and he tells everyone that they should surrender to him and then he will deliver. But not everyone is able to surrender to Krishna. But Lord Chaitanya, he has come without any distinction. We see also how Lord Krishna dealt with the demons, that he had his Sudarshan chakra, and he would just kill the miscreants, those who were against him, those who were envious of him and opposed to him, he would just kill them with his Sudarshan chakra. And then in the Treta Yuga, Lord Rama had his bow and arrows, and he would pierce the hearts of so many Rakshasas. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come in the Kali Yuga, and he is very, very merciful. So he does not kill the demons, but rather he changes the heart of the demons and he makes them all into devotees. That is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to bring even the low, sinful, unqualified people, to bring them into Krishna consciousness. And he does this through his divine mercy, and his mercy also comes through the Sankirtan movement, through the chanting of the holy names. So, as stated in the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Yagnaye Sankirtan Praye Yajantihi Sumedasaha. That for those people who are Sumedasaha, who are intelligent people, who have purified intelligence, they will take part in the Sankirtan. Just as we were doing just now, we were chanting the holy names. Each of you were taking turns to chant the Mahamantra. This is Sri Krishna Sankirtan. And this is the Yuga Dharma. This is the process for self-realization in the Kali Yuga. In every age, there's chanting of the holy names. But in other ages, there are different processes. Just like in Satya Yuga, there was meditation, and in Treta Yuga, there was yagna, and Dwapara Yuga, there was temple worship. But in every age, there was also chanting of the holy name. And now in the Kali Yuga, there is only the chanting of the holy name. There's no other process in the Kali Yuga. It's only, and this is stated in Brihad Naradiya Purana, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, Kalo nasteva, 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 gatiranyata. In the Kali Yuga, there is no other way but by chanting the holy name. So Lord Chaitanya was giving mercy to the whole world by propagating the chanting of the holy name. That he chanted the holy name himself, and he also directed others to chant the holy name. Of course, not only chanting the holy name, but also worshipping Krishna and reading the books about Krishna. That's also very important for us. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is confirmed as the incarnation of the Lord in the Kali Yuga. We can recognize the Lord as an incarnation by the statements which are there in the scriptures. We've quoted the two verses, the one from Srimad Bhagavatam and the one from Vishnu Sahasranam, which is part of Mahabharata. So in these two verses, it describes the activities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that his activity is chanting the holy name, propagating the chanting of the holy name to everyone. And as we heard, every town and village, there would be the chanting of the holy name. Because Lord Krishna is in the heart of everyone. So the whole planet can become Krishna conscious by the mercy of devotees. The mission of the devotees is to go to every town and village and awaken Krishna consciousness in the people. So Lord Chaitanya had two prominent followers. One was called Lord Nityananda, and the other was Haridas Thakur. So Lord Nityananda, he is actually not different from Lord Balaram. And Haridas Thakur, he is described to be Brahma Haridas. Lord Brahma comes as Haridas Thakur. So these two together were sent by Lord Chaitanya to go everywhere and to ask people to chant the holy name and to read the books about Krishna and to worship Krishna. So it happened that Lord Nityananda chose to approach two very fallen, sinful people. They were called Jaghai and Madhai. And they were actually born in a good Brahmana family. But because of bad association, they had become very degraded and very sinful. So Lord Nityananda decided he wanted to approach them and request them to chant the holy name. So Lord Nityananda went to them, and when he approached them, they were intoxicated. And when he came to them to ask them to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, they became angry and they wanted to attack him and they chased him. So on the first occasion, Lord Nityananda ran away with Haridas. They had to run to save their lives. But Lord Nityananda did not give up, and he came again. And after some days, he came again to them and requested them to chant. But this time, the two drunkards were able to, they were actually very near to Lord Nityananda. So one of them took a wine pot and he struck Lord Nityananda on the head, and he drew blood from the forehead of Lord Nityananda. So when Lord Chaitanya heard about this, he immediately came there on the scene, because Lord Chaitanya wants to protect the devotees. And Lord Nityananda is very, very dear to Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya came there and he was calling for his Sudarshan Chakra. He was going to kill the two rascals who had been violent towards Nityananda. But Lord Nityananda requested Lord Chaitanya that, no, my Lord, you cannot do this in this age, because in this age everyone is fallen. In this age you must be merciful. So Lord Chaitanya agreed, and he made the two people, this Jagai and Madhai, he got them to promise that they would never again do anything sinful, and that they would become devotees and they would serve the Vaishnavas. So this was the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he could bring the most fallen souls into Krishna consciousness. And Rupa Goswami also, he was coming from a good Brahmana family, but he had also become somewhat degraded due to association. His association was with the Mohammedans. So he was associating with people who were killing cows and who were eating the flesh of the cow. And he was working for them. He'd been forced into that situation. Anyway, he understood he was in a very fallen condition, and he came to Lord Chaitanya, and he said to Lord Chaitanya, he said, you know, I am more sinful than Jaghai and Madhai. Although Jaghai and Madhai were very sinful and fallen, they never took up any service from anybody. A Brahman's duty, a real Brahmana, will not take up service from others. The Brahmana's occupation is that he can worship the deity, or he can teach others to worship the deity. He can study scriptures, and he can teach the scriptures, and he can accept charity, and he can give charity. So these are the prescribed duties of a Brahmana. But Rupa Goswami told Lord Chaitanya that I gave up my Brahminical position by taking up service under the Mohammedans, so I've lost my caste. But Lord Chaitanya accepted him and brought him into Krishna consciousness. That even though he was coming from a fallen background, Lord Chaitanya accepted him as a disciple, and he sent him to Vrindavan. He said, yes, you leave this job and you go and live in Vrindavan. And Rupa Goswami went to live in Vrindavan, and there he established the wonderful temple, the Govindaji temple, Radha Govinda temple in Vrindavan. And he also excavated the different places of Krishna's pastimes, and he also wrote many books about the teachings of Lord Krishna, because Lord Chaitanya took time to instruct Rupa Goswami. Actually, Lord Chaitanya instructed Rupa Goswami for 10 days, and that took place at the Trivedi on the bank of the Prayag there, Prayagraj, in what is now called Prayagraj, at the bank of where the Ganga meets the Yamuna. Lord Chaitanya instructed Rupa Goswami there. And similarly, his brother Sanatana Goswami also came to live in Vrindavan. But before going to Vrindavan, he first of all met Lord Chaitanya in Benares or Varanasi. And Lord Chaitanya instructed Sanatana Goswami for 2 months in Benares. And then Sanatana Goswami went to live in Vrindavan, and he established the Madan Mohan temple. So while Lord Chaitanya himself did not establish any temple, he instructed his disciples that they should establish nice temples and show how to worship the deity of Lord Krishna. So the original temples in Vrindavan were all constructed by the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who also discovered the Radha Kund. If you go to Vrindavan, one of the places which people like to visit is Radha Kund, which is just at the side of Govardhan Hill. So this Radha Kund was discovered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nobody knew where is Radha Kund, but Lord Chaitanya came there and he showed them. He went into the rice field. There was a rice field and there was a pool of water in the rice field. And Lord Chaitanya told them, this is the place. And Lord Chaitanya personally took his bath there in the Radha Kund. So it's a very important place for the devotees in the Gaudiya Vaishnava teachings, that we give importance to Radha Kund, not just because of Lord Krishna, but because of the position of Srimati Radharani. So Lord Chaitanya came to reveal all of these wonderful things to us. So we're so much indebted to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he has given Krishna consciousness to everyone. One of Lord Chaitanya's associates was a person called Ramananda Rai. So when Lord Chaitanya met with Ramananda Rai, they met on the banks of the Godavari, that's going into South India. So at this time, Lord Chaitanya was a sannyasi. And of course, Lord Chaitanya was born in a Brahmana family. And he was initiated sannyas in the line of Shankaracharya. And he met with Ramananda Rai. And when they met, Lord Chaitanya would put questions to Ramananda Rai. So Ramananda Rai was surprised. He thought, why are you asking me these questions? You're the sannyasi. The sannyasis are like the guru of the society. Why is it you're asking me questions? But Lord Chaitanya told Ramananda Rai, he said, Kiba Vipra, Kibanasi, Sudra Keninai, Ye Krishna Tadvavet, Se Guru Hoy. This verse means it does not matter what one's social position is. One may be a Vipra, a learned Brahmana, or a Nyasi, a renounced person, or a Sudra. It doesn't matter what position one is in society, socially, but anyone who knows Krishna Tattva, anyone who knows the science of Krishna, then they can be the spiritual master. Ye Krishna Tattvavet, se Guru Hoy. So the spiritual teacher has to know the science of Krishna. It does not matter what is his birth. This Ramananda Rai was not, although he had a very big position in the government of the king of Jagannath Puri, at that time there was a state called Utkal. So Ramananda Rai was in charge of the lower region, the southernmost region of that state, under the control of which was all the way practically down to Chennai. And Ramananda Rai was in charge there on behalf of the king, Maharaj Prataparudra, the king of Puri. So although Ramananda Rai was born in a low family, materially he was like from a family which was like Sudra, but he was the most enlightened, the most educated in the science of Krishna. So when Lord Chaitanya met with him, they discussed topics of Krishna. And it was Lord Chaitanya putting questions to Ramananda Rai, and Ramananda Rai was answering. So this is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he gave everyone the chance to become Krishna conscious, and he gave everyone the chance to also become a spiritual teacher. Anyone who knows the science of Krishna, they can also teach Krishna consciousness. Lord Chaitanya told the Brahmin from Kurmadesh, there's a pastime, Lord Chaitanya went to visit Kurmadesh, and at that time in Kurmadesh, he told the Brahmin from Kurmadesh, because this Brahmin in Kurmadesh, he wanted to go and travel with Lord Chaitanya. But Lord Chaitanya didn't like that. He said, no, you should stay here. You have a family here. There's no reason for you to leave your family. The man was saying, no, I can't bear it. The family life is terrible. I'm suffering here. But Lord Chaitanya told him, no, you stay here. And he said, Yari deke tari kaho Krishna upadesh, amar agyaya guru hana tara eidesh. Lord Chaitanya instructed this Brahmana from Kurmadesh that you simply tell people about Krishna. Wherever you go and whoever you meet, you tell them about topics of Krishna. And in this way, you become also a spiritual teacher. And in this way, you save the world. So this is Lord Chaitanya's teachings. Lord Chaitanya's followers were mostly from the family life, Grihastha people. Although he himself had renounced at the age of 24, but most of his followers, his devotees, were from the family life. So Lord Chaitanya was not against family life. Rather, he appreciated the fact that people are in family life and they have children. And Lord Chaitanya enjoyed to meet the children and to have pastimes with the children of the devotees. And some of these children of the devotees grew up to be very wonderful devotees. Just like one of Lord Chaitanya's associates was Shivananda Sen. So he had 3 children, and his youngest son, Lord Chaitanya gave him the name Puri Das. Lord Chaitanya was residing in Jagannath Puri, and so Lord Chaitanya jokingly gave him this name Puri Das. But this boy later on grew up to be Kavi Karnapur. And as Kavi Karnapur, he wrote very important scriptures. He wrote books like the Chaitanya Chandradayam Natika, which is a drama about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. And he wrote also a book called Gaura Ganadesh Dipika, which identifies the different people in Krishna Lila and who they are in Lord Chaitanya's Leela. So his books are read, very important to the followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Chaitanya respected people in family life, and he didn't like people to abruptly give up their responsibilities. In this matter, Lord Chaitanya quoted the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which says one should stay in whatever position one is in and become Krishna conscious, right? You don't have to think that because I'm in family life, I cannot be a devotee and I cannot serve Krishna. Rather, we can. Lord Chaitanya's teachings are universal, that anyone in any position of life, they can become devotee of Krishna, and they can chant the Hare Krishna mantra. So this is a very special contribution of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So tomorrow is like 535th anniversary of the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya appeared in 1486 in the district of Nadia, which is where Mayapur is situated, Navadvip. Navadvip, 500 years ago, was the capital of Bengal, and it was the center of learning. So it was here that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested himself. Vaishnavi?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
I'm not sure how long you want me to talk for.
Yeah, we didn't really, yes, Guru Maharaj, you can continue for 10 more minutes. No problem. We didn't have any program after this. Yeah, we just have a small quiz for 10 minutes. That's it.
Okay, I'll speak for 10 more minutes.
Yeah, maybe we can have a question answer session, a doubt session after that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Guru Maharaj.
So Lord Chaitanya was born on the Poornima day, and at the time of the birth of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there was an eclipse. So because of the eclipse, the custom is that all the people would go to the Ganga and take their bath during the eclipse, and they would all chant the holy name. And it said that when that eclipse took place, because everyone was taking bath, all the Hindus were taking bath in the Ganga, and they were all chanting the holy names of the Lord. It said the Mohammedans, they were also chanting, because the Mohammedans will often imitate the chanting of the Hindus. You know, that just like they hear the Hindus chanting Hare Krishna, so the Mohammedans also go Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You know, they will also jokingly chant the holy name. So it's remarked by the Acharyas who describe the birth of Lord Chaitanya. They describe that with the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone was chanting the holy name. So this was a sign indicating the activity of this child, because at his birth everyone was chanting. And so he's come to begin the Sankirtan movement. He's come to inaugurate what is called the Yuga Dharma. The Yuga Dharma, the special religious activity for this age of Kali Yuga, which is Sankirtan, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya appeared at this particular time when there was an eclipse. And when, as a young child, he would often cry. And the only way that they could get the child to stop crying was when the ladies would begin to chant the holy name. They couldn't get the child to stop any other way. They would try to amuse the child, but until they chanted the holy name, there was no way they could satisfy the child. The only way they could get him to stop his crying was to get him to chant the holy name. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to inaugurate this chanting of the holy name. As we said, in every age there was a chanting of the holy names, but in Kali Yuga there's only the chanting of the holy name. And it was Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who brought the chanting of the holy name out from the temple. Previous to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the chanting of the holy name was only done in temples. And people thought it's only Brahmanas who can chant the holy name. That if you're not a Brahmana, you don't have a right to chant the holy name. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened the chanting of Hare Krishna to everyone, that anyone, anywhere can chant the holy name of the Lord. So this was a very powerful contribution of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to people in this age of Kali, that he wants everyone to have the opportunity to chant the holy name. As described in the verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, depicting his appearance, it said people who have a purified brain, Sumedha, they will take part in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Some people, less intelligent people, they think, oh, this is just some emotional, sentimental activity. They do not realize the spiritual potency in the chanting of the holy name. Actually, there's great spiritual benefit for everyone who chants the holy name. We see in the Kali Yuga, people worship so many different gods. In Bhagavad Gita, for example, Lord Krishna describes Antavatu palam tesham tadbhavati aupamedasham. So people who worship gods who are not supreme, they worship the devas, different devas who are not actually the supreme Lord, but they worship them, and they worship them to get material benefit for results which are limited and temporary. So these people are described as being alpamedasaha, that they have a small intelligence, they have a small brain, they do not understand what is actually the real goal. They're thinking just to get material benefit. So this is the ignorance of the foolish people. But people who are actually intelligent, they will want to chant the holy name of the Supreme Lord. We don't chant the names of other gods, we just chant the names of the Supreme Lord. It is clearly described, Aradhanam Sarvesham Vishnor Aradhanam Param, that of all kinds of worship, the worship of Lord Vishnu is supreme. And if we worship other gods other than Vishnu, Lord Krishna also is, of course, Lord Vishnu, not different. If we worship other gods, then we're described as being less intelligent. We're just interested in material benefit. But the chanting of the holy names of the Supreme Lord, this is the process by which we can purify our heart. This is the process by which we can awaken our God consciousness. By nature, we are all God conscious. But to awaken our God consciousness, we have to hear about Lord Krishna. So it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who showed us how to hear about Lord Krishna. He was constantly discussing topics of Krishna, and he was hearing again and again the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he loved to hear the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. He was very happy to be absorbed in this way in the topics of Krishna. We see foolish people, they just want to hear Rasa Leela. They have no qualification. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us by his own example that we're better to hear pastimes of the great devotees like Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj, and how they sacrificed, how they worshiped Lord Krishna, and how they achieved, how they how they did service for the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, we said, Lord Krishna himself, but we also say he's the combined form of Radha and Krishna. It is stated, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. That Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna, and at the same time, he is combined form of Radha and Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, and he comes in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Just like we said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not blackish like Krishna, but he's a golden color. Why is he a golden color? The reason for that is because this is Srimati Radharani's color. Her complexion is golden. Right? We offer our respects to Radharani, Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. Srimati Radharani is described as being golden color. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in the Kali Yuga, and he wants to also experience the mood of Srimati Radharani, because he sees that Radharani is getting the greatest ecstasy in serving Lord Krishna. People, sometimes they think it's great they want to become God, but actually better than becoming God is to become the servant of God. This is actually our real position, to be the servant. And there's more pleasure in being the servant than in being the master. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches all of us to be the servant of Krishna eternally. And by serving Lord Krishna, we can experience the greatest pleasure. All right, so we will stop here.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for the wonderful lecture today. In this Corona situation, we are not even able to go to the Zurich temple. They are already overbooked. So it was very nice to hear about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from you. Today, the children also listen the lecture. After that, we will have the quiz. So is there any doubts from the participants? Please feel free to ask the questions or doubts to Guru Maharaj.
Gurudev, I had a question.
Yes.
Thank you. Hi, Krishna. Gurudev, quite a few of them, the adults, while we preach to them, Gurudev, they listen very attentively and nicely. But when it comes to practicing, they cannot give up on their practice of their traditional beliefs that they have learned from their childhood of Durga Devi being the supreme, or Lord Shiva being the supreme. Somehow it just doesn't leave their mind or their heart, the thought. So what happens in such a situation, Gurudev? I mean, can they really become more towards Lord Krishna? I mean, it's not easy for them. What do they do, Gurudev? Because one of the Mataji showed me, it's not easy for us, since childhood we've been taught this way, so we can't suddenly give up and just, after listening to so many glories also, we cannot just accept that Lord Krishna is the supreme.
Yes, I understand it's very difficult for them, that they're so conditioned, they have their traditional ways. But in some ways, they're on the Vedic path. They're on the Vedic path, and gradually, they have to understand that worshiping Lord Shiva and Durga, they're in the material world. So they can give material benefits. If they want to get actually released from the wheel of birth and death, they have to understand position of Lord Krishna. They cannot expect that they're going to get free of birth and death just simply by worshipping these devas. Although we do read in Srimad Bhagavatam, we read about Lord Shiva and how he gives his greatest mercy to people. It depends on the mood of the devotee. Some people are worshipping Lord Shiva to get material benefits, and other people may worship Lord Shiva to get the highest thing, to get the most valuable thing which Lord Shiva has. And if they want to get the greatest thing which Lord Shiva has, they can get not the teachings of the devotees, how to do devotional service, how to please the Supreme Lord. Because Lord Shiva, he is a Vaishnava. So they have to understand more that Lord Shiva, when he's worshipped for material reasons, when Lord Shiva is worshipped for material reasons, he will give material benefits. That's easy for him to give. But if you want to get the real thing, the highest thing from Lord Shiva, then you have to request him to give that most valuable thing which he has. If in your heart you're just simply about thinking about material benefits, then Lord Shiva will give that. He can give these material benefits very easily, but that's not the highest thing which he has to give. If you want to get the highest, the greatest thing Lord Shiva has, you have to ask him for that. You don't want to be asking him for material benefit. So there are many instances like this, how people came to Lord Shiva, and initially they wanted to get material benefit, but then they thought that, he's giving this so easily. Lord Shiva is Asutosh. He's easy to please. So he can give you material benefits, but he gives you the material benefits. He doesn't give you the greatest thing which he has to give, which is God consciousness or Krishna consciousness, an awakening to the goal of life. Lord Shiva rarely gives that, but he can give it. There are also devotees of Lord Shiva. There's a sampradaya coming from Lord Shiva.
Gurudev, Lord Krishna would give a Krishna Prema Bhakti or Krishna Bhakti very difficultly, right? To anybody who's also an aspiring, even aspirant, because it seems people who go as Lord Shiva is known as Ashutosh, they may ask for a material benefit as well as ask for bhakti. Then do they still have a chance?
Well, that's mixed devotion.
Do they still have a chance to get, a tinge of it at least?
Yeah, well, of course, they're asking Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva will consider what do they want most.
Got it, Gurudev. Thank you.
Sanatana Goswami was a follower of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was a direct disciple of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was also very devoted to Lord Shiva, but not for any material benefit. Just like devotees, we also worship Tulsi Maharani. We can offer worship to Mother Ganga. The same way we can also worship Lord Shiva, and we worship our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. So the worship of those things in relation to Krishna is also good. Even better than the worship of Vishnu is the worship of those things in relation to Vishnu, because they will bring us to Vishnu. If one worships Lord Shiva with the right mood and intention, then Lord Shiva will bring you to bhakti. He will give you bhakti. But the mood has to be right. Actually, it said, even you want all material desires, still we should worship Vishnu. There's a statement in the second canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Whether one has all material desires or no material desires or desires liberation, still he should worship Lord Vishnu. So you can worship other people. That is for the people who are more in the bodily concept of life. But at least they're worshipping Lord Shiva, Durga. There's something on the Vedic path. And gradually they'll come to understand that the results of their worship is going to be temporary and very limited. But they can get the greatest benefit by worshipping the Supreme Lord. And you can tell them things like the pastime of Bhrigu Muni, how Bhrigu Muni was sent to test Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who was the greatest, and how Vishnu was so much greater than Brahma and Shiva. There's so many different pastimes are there. But you also have, the example of Anasuya. Anasuya and her husband, they wanted to have the Supreme Lord as their son. Now they didn't know who is the Supreme Lord. So it happened they got 3 sons, and they wanted to know, which one of you is the Supreme Lord? And they said, we all are. One was Brahma, one was Vishnu, and one was Shiva. So in the material world, there are 3 gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. But when you go to the spiritual world, you will see who is actually supreme. Okay?
Yes, Gurudev. Thank you very much.
Any other question? Okay, Vaishnavi, no questions?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, I have a question. Krishna came and but he didn't distribute love of Godhead. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is distributing love of Godhead in this most fallen age of Kali Yuga. Is there a special reason, Guru Maharaj, why he chose Kali Yuga? Or
Yes, there are some special reasons that Kali Yuga, as we said, the chanting of the holy name, that's the only process in the Kali Yuga. And he understands also in Kali Yuga, people are very, very fallen and sinful. So he has to be very merciful to them. And he also knows that in Kali Yuga, if people just think about doing good, they get the benefit of it. And in other ages, if you thought about doing something good, you didn't get any benefit until you actually did it. But in the Kali Yuga, people get the benefit. If they just think about doing something good, they get the benefit. So the Lord knows the condition of people in the Kali Yuga, and he knows how irreligious they are. So he wants to benefit them. So he comes himself. And it was also a scheduled, it's scheduled But the Lord comes in every age. He has to establish externally, he has to establish the Yuga Dharma. And the Yuga Dharma is the chanting of the holy name. So the Lord himself came in this particular Kali Yuga, and he didn't come just only to establish the holy name, although that's the external reason, but internally, he came to also give prema bhakti. He came to give what is the highest form of love of God. Right? We heard the verse about how Lord Chaitanya is very merciful, right? Namo Mahabhadanaya. Why is he so merciful? Because Krishna Prema Pradayate. He's giving Krishna Prem to people. So Krishna Prem is the highest. That's the goal of life, to develop love of God. And the Lord he's come in the Kali Yuga. You see, there's a very special period in the Kali Yuga. It's like a golden era in the Kali Yuga. Lord Chaitanya came 500 and so many years ago, and we're in this golden era now in the Kali Yuga. But Kali Yuga is 432,000 years. And as Kali Yuga progresses, the world will become more and more sinful, and there will be less and less opportunity for people to become God conscious. So the Lord came to establish the Sankirtan for the next 10,000 years. It's like a golden era for Krishna consciousness. So it begins with the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he comes himself, although he is Krishna, he doesn't identify himself as being Krishna, but he comes as a devotee of Krishna. And he wants to teach all of us how to be devotee. Being a devotee is better than being God himself. There's more pleasure in being the servant than in being the master. So Lord Chaitanya is Krishna who came to experience that ecstasy, that pleasure in being the servant of the Lord. And he serves the Lord through chanting his holy name and teaching people about Krishna consciousness. But Lord Chaitanya's, his main activity was Sankirtan. Although he was staying in Jagannath Puri, he was staying in Jagannath Puri for 18 years, but practically every day his main business was to go out and chant the holy name. And in this way, everyone could be benefited through the loud chanting of the holy name. So performing Sankirtan is very, very wonderful, very powerful activity. Everyone should go for Sankirtan as soon as possible, as often as you can. Try to take the time to just go and chant the holy name. And just by chanting, it purifies the whole atmosphere. Okay.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Now we will have a short quiz from the lecture. Hope all the children are ready. And if the children is not answering, other people can also answer it. I'm sure very simple questions. I just found it from the lecture. So the first question is, what is the color of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Why he assumed that color? Okay, Bhuvana wants to answer.
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's color was golden. And for the second question, I think it is because he was a combined form of Radha and Krishna.
Okay. Kaushika, can you answer the question?
His color was gold, Swarnam, and that's all.
Okay, very good. The correct answer is the color of Gauranga is golden, and he assumed the color of Srimati Radharani. Bhuvana answered it very correctly. Both answers are correct. The next question, What is the Yuga Dharma of this age, Kali Yuga? Okay, Adavan Madhavan, would you like to answer?
Yes. Chanting the holy name of the Supreme Being.
Okay. Ramya, Bhuvana?
Same, auntie, chanting the holy name of the Lord.
Kaushika?
Same.
Okay, the correct, yes, it's the correct answer, the chanting the holy name of the Lord. The next question, who are the two prominent followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Okay, Bhavana wants to answer this.
Lord Nityananda and Haridas.
Okay. Bhuvana?
Same, auntie, Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur.
Adavan Madhavan?
Same.
Okay. Kaushika?
Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur.
Yes, that's the correct answer. Fourth question, in Chaitanya Leela, who comes as Haridas Thakur? Okay, Bhuvana?
Brahmar.
Okay, Kaushika?
Brahmar தான் நினைக்கிறேன் ஷுவர் இல்ல ஆனா
Adavan Madhavan?
நானும் பிரம்மான்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
Very good. Brahma is the right answer. Can you name the next question? Can you name few temples of Vrindavan established by Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami?
Varanasi.
Okay, Kaushika, you can answer.
Varanasi.
Sorry, can you be loud?
Varanasi.
Okay, Bhavana wants to answer.
Madan Mohan Temple, I think.
Okay, yeah, Madana Mohan Temple and Radha Govindaji Temple. Very good. Next, who discovered Radha Kund? Bhuvana?
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discovered the Radha Kund.
Adavan Madhavan?
Same. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Okay. Yes, the answer is Lord Chaitanya. What is the teaching of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Okay, Adavan Madhavan?
That everybody can praise the Supreme Lord by chanting.
Okay. Kaushika?
In the Kali Yuga, the easy way of reaching the Godhead is by chanting.
Okay. Bhuvana?
Same, auntie, his goal was to was that everybody in the world could chant the Hare Krishna mantra and be.
Okay, Bhavana, you want to answer?
Also that whoever we meet, we should tell them about Krishna.
Okay. Yeah, all the answers are correct for this. I was expecting like we have to become the servant of Lord Krishna. So the next question is, what is the goal of human life? Goal of life. Adavan Madhavan?
Be the servant of Krishna.
Okay. Bhuvana?
To be the servant of the Supreme Lord.
Okay, Bhavana?
To go back to Krishna.
Okay, so the exact answer is to develop love for Krishna, Krishna Prem. So the next question, which anniversary year of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are we celebrating now? Adavan Madhavan?
The 535th.
Okay, very good. So that's all the quiz. So I think Bhuvana answered most of the questions. And all of you also tried very nicely, and like from this we can see that you have very carefully listened the lecture of Guru Maharaj. So I'm very thankful for Guru Maharaj's patience and kindness. Guru Maharaj, would you like to tell few words to these children? This is the first time they have come to listen for the lecture.
Yes, I'm very impressed that they could absorb so much of the information which I presented. It shows they have a very powerful hearing capacity. And I'm very, very happy to see that there's such interested devotees, that if they continue in this way, I'm sure they will become wonderful devotees.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for your blessings. That's what mostly needed for us. So now, can we go for the chanting, Guru Maharaj?
Yes, we can. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Guru
Guru
Maharaj.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna,
Guru Maharaj.
Nirvana.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you
I
so
bow,
much.
brother.
Very much, Guru
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Ready.
Thank you, Vaishnavi.
Thanks. Thank you, Simon, and to all the participants. Thank you so much for joining.
Tomorrow in the park.
Yes, tomorrow in the park.
Uh,
Yes.
3 o'clock.
3. Yes, Prabhuji. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
please come. Are you coming?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we are meeting in
See
the park.
you tomorrow.
Yeah, yes. So I have a message for the children. Adavan, Madhavan, Kaushika, Bhuvana, you all did a great job. I never expected that you will answer all the questions. So you will have a good gift from me. And Adavan, Madhavan, if you send me the address, I will send it for you through post for you. Very good. You answered one of the tough questions. Very good. Adavan, Madhavan, Kaushika, Bhuvana. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Wonderful.
very much, Krishna Vivani.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yuna
See you tomorrow.
Mataji. See you
Thank
tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Bye.